First of all, I would like to say thank you for the committees to invite me as a speakers in this occasion. And I want to introduce myself. My name is Zagi Berian. Currently, I'm still organize the Society of Renewable Energy, doing some stuff in research on any kind of renewable energy. And uh, I built some foundation regarding renewable energy to support the youth. If youth want to contribute in the renewable energy sectors in Indonesia. So today, uh, today I would like to present my presentation. I will share screen first. Yeah. My title of the presentation is The Future Decision Makers, a Youth Development Pipeline, a case study from the Indonesian. So here's the outline that I want to addressing in this occasion. The first one is get closer to Indonesia. I want to introduce Indonesia to you, our beloved countries. And second, I want to introduce and share a little bit of my experience. Well, how can I build the society of renewable energy, and shares about the challenge also. And the last but not least, I want to present a pathline that I will propose in this occasion. So I strongly recommend it to duplicate the pathline to other countries. Yeah. Have you ever heard about the Indonesian? Please, some of you, if you have ever heard about Indonesia, unmute your microphone first. Any of you know about the Indonesian?
Of course.
Okay,
I
thank
think
you.
anyone with good geography would know.
Okay, thank you. The Indonesian have 70,000 island, consists of the small island to the big island, and it has 1.9 million kilometer per square area. Two-thirds is the maritime, and the last is 270 million people. It's huge of population in Indonesia. So this is some pictures how beautiful Indonesia, but the climate action becoming so real. Many cities in Indonesia has limited access to fresh air because many activities from the human produce the carbon dioxide emission. The biggest factors comes from the energy sectors. I will share a little bit the renewable energy can solve the climate action. So keep in mind, I will share to you our paradigm, because I think if you want to talk about the renewable energy, you don't yeah, I think it's very suitable. It's alternative solution to fight the climate action, not to substitute the fossil energy. Yeah, because Indonesia have a target. Our president, Mr. Joko Widodo, shares the Indonesian commitment in the COP21 in Paris. Indonesia want to reduce the greenhouse gas in terms of business as usual and also international support. 834 million ton carbon dioxide equivalent, and with the business as usual, and 1,000 million ton carbon dioxide equivalent for the international support, and uh, 38% from the energy sectors. So what kind of energy that has to utilize to reduce the greenhouse emission, to reduce the greenhouse gas? Yes, of course, we have to utilize the renewable energy. So this is the Indonesian target. Indonesian want to build the solar power plant in amount of 5,000 megawatt between 2021 until 2030. And Indonesia want to build a PV rooftop, solar PV on your rooftop, on your house, in amount of 2,000 megawatt, and want to substitute the diesel power plant to renewable energy power plant. And of course, from the diesel itself, the Indonesian government want to substitute the diesel to the biofuel. For etc., the first generation of biodiesel is suitable in this occasion in Indonesia. And also co-firing with biomass, it means if we have the coal power plant, the coal have to substitute with the wood chip. The wood chip and then processing the wood chip to the pellet. So it has similar look with the coal and fed into the coal power plant itself in amount of 0.45 million barrel oil equivalent. And also electric vehicle. As we know, Elon Musk succeed to promote electric vehicle in global and especially promoting his product Tesla. Indonesia want to promote the electric vehicle in amount of 15 million units. So this is the current condition of Indonesia. The graphic shown that Indonesia have a huge of renewable energy potential, but still lack of utilization. Only 2.5 percent for from the total renewable energy potential. What happened? Is it come from the economics? Is it come from the government in terms of the legal or the policies, or is it come from the technology itself? No, I think the best answers to addressing is a lack of youth energy potential utilization. So in this occasion, I will share how can we build the youth regarding the renewable energy base. Because in the future, youth will be a decision makers. If the youth cannot gain the renewable energy knowledge from now, it will be a catastrophic because if we know that the global energy transition and global commitment want to set the zero emission in 2050. In other words, in the 2050, our generation will become the decision makers. So for the from the government target for the NDCs and amplify with the global energy transition and climate action, I will share about the how youth in Indonesia around 64 million and 400 gigawatt of renewable energy potential utilized to supporting energy transition in Indonesia. So we create the Society of Renewable Energy, student organization that provide capacity building in Indonesia since 2019. Our goal is to support the Indonesian target in energy transition through youth capacity building with our vision. SRE will be a center movement for youth to collaborate and action in renewable energy sectors. With the mission, the first one is to provide students to innovate and ideate. The second is spread the awareness of the renewable energy. The third is initiate renewable energy idea and innovation. And the fourth is create a product in renewable energy sectors. So currently, we are available in the 34 university in Indonesia within less than 2 years. So if you search Society of Renewable Energy on social media, especially in the Instagram, they will a lot of social media from the SRE from each universities, and this is their logos. And currently we have focusing to promoting gender equality. So we built the SRE Women Edition, consists of the women in the Society of Renewable Energy, and we create a talent pool platform. So we connecting the dots between the industry to start to student. If the student want to search any job opportunities, they can access through our platform. And this is our programs. The first one is the community development. We mandate each Society of Renewable Energy has to develop the society around its Society of Renewable Energy itself, because I think if we as a student can share the knowledge through the society around our environment, it will be influence other people to has renewable energy lifestyle. And the second is get to know of the renewable energy. So many universities cannot provide the renewable energy courses because they don't have any expert to share about the renewable energy in that university. So Society of Renewable Energy provide the renewable energy courses so student can learn about the renewable energy, but we set in the surface, only in the surface. And then the third is the expert from the expert seminar. We know between the industry and the university, there is a gap. What we learn in the university cannot support our career in the industry. So we have to invite any expert from the practitioners to share their knowledge regarding their field, so student can gain the knowledge and how the real problem in the industry. And and then we conduct the company visit, so our member can visit any industry in Indonesia, especially in renewable energy, so they can know about their company profile. And fifth, about the innovation, we push the members to create any single innovation or idea, no matter how simple the idea or the innovation. We have to push the student. So we create the culture in the Society of Renewable Energy that the student want always want to ideate some innovation. And the last is the spread awareness. We conduct any events to promote the renewable energy. We usually invite from the government, academia, and the private sectors to discuss any problem in the renewable energy. The agenda is to promoting the renewable energy and helping the government to spread the awareness of renewable energy. This is our journey. We established in the 2019 the condition only one universities, less than 10 event that we conduct, and less than 10 committees to organize all the events. Our focus in the first phase, we want to increase awareness, especially in that campus. The result is we gain the 1K followers on the social media, 1K audience on all event. We conduct any event in offline mode because before pandemic, we can access any co-working space in Indonesia to conduct any event. And during pandemics, we grow significantly and we expand to 12 universities. We success to influence other universities to create Society of Renewable Energy, because Society of Renewable Energy is very unique organization. Any campus can get the Society of Renewable Energy brand in their campus. And then more than 200 events that we conduct and more than one committee that organize all these events. Our focus, besides the increased awareness, we also push to the student to implement their idea, transforming their idea to the product. The result is 20K followers on the social media, 2 million audience all the events, and we uh, built some small wind turbine to support rural electrification. And in this year's 2021, we expand to 34 university, more than 300 events that we conducted, more than 2K committees, and the focus still same with the previous year. And the result is 50K followers on the social media and 5 million audience on all the events. So this is the challenge that we face during our journey. The first one is the knowledge, and even educational standards. let the student has to search any opportunities, any external courses to support their academic knowledge. But the external courses is very expensive. And then when they want to meet some practitioners, meet some the academia from the tier one of the university, they don't have any access. So limited access to discuss with the academia and the practitioners. The second, research and development. Student cannot conduct any experience on the laboratory because any university don't have enough laboratory, so the student only experience. So the student only can conduct the experiment through the simulation from the software, and then limited high quality of the expert, so student can get the guidance from the expert and limited fund to research and development. The third is the experience. Many students want to increase their knowledge, want to increase their portfolio, but they don't have any access to involve in the real project. When they want to apply to any companies, the companies reject them because they don't have any portfolio that suitable in this project from the company. So I think if the university can support to for the student to apply any companies, it will be I think it will be beneficial for the students, and then university can give funding for the student to conduct their experience and conduct their project in the rural, for example, so the student can get the hands-on experience. And the last is the job opportunities. The low demand from the industry, especially during pandemic, makes the student cannot get any opportunities to work in their fields. And the low quality of the human resource and limited platform for job opportunities. So when I break down the factors that very important in these renewable energy sectors, the first one is the funding, collaboration, awareness, and also the access. So this is the pathline that has to conduct to for the any countries. The first phase is the awareness. Youth can be an actor to spread the awareness. The youth have to utilize digital platform to spread the awareness because it's very easy to use the digital platform. Only one click, you can spread the awareness. For example, repost, retweet, etc. And I think in this phase, the youth have to be active, not passive. I think if the youth is active, any information in the social media, and then the youth can amplify through their networks, it will increase the level of awareness regarding the renewable energy. And second phase is the knowledge. The very program that student need is the capacity building. The capacity building has to involve all the elements, consist of the government, private sector, and academia. So when youth want to know regarding the policies, the legal, they can ask to the government directly. If the student want to know how the business conduct, how the marketing conduct, they can directly contact to the private sectors, and the private sectors can guide the youth to get the experience. And if you want to conduct any research, they can directly contact the academia. So the capacity building is very holistic program. So youth can get the knowledge from the all elements. And the second point that I want to address is brief to us why and how. The third phase is the experience. There must a platform collaboration to gather all information regarding internship program or collaborative program, because if youth has the knowledge, they have to implement, they have to increase the level of the portfolio, so they need hands-on experience. I think if there's specifically platform for the renewable energy, it's very beneficial for student. So student can search the industry, the renewable energy industry, and they can apply to that industry and gain the experience for that industry. And for this experience phase, be active, not passive. All the opportunities have to take even though the program not give you any incentive. I think for the student, for the youth, it's very important to get the experience first. So if we have the experience, we can easily get the opportunities. So if you uh, if you meet the opportunities, I strongly recommend it, take it, no matter how. And the last is the actualization. The youth that follow the previous stage, it it can be beneficial for the government, for the countries itself. So they can advocate to another youth. So their spirit, the huge number of youths, can amplify the movement. So the energy transition agenda for its country can achieve in the yeah, I think short duration. And then this is the strategy that I want to propose. The pentahelix, the collaboration between private sector, media, community, government, and also the academia. What of the role that can youth have to involve? The youth have to connect the dots between the elements. So the youth have to connect between the academia to the business sectors, academia to the government, government to the private sector. So they can create a program collaboration. So I think it's very important for you as a youth to active find the opportunities. And the strategy is create an investment platform, collaborate between academia and government, between academia and private sectors, government and the private sectors, and create a platform for job opportunities, health a training for the student and community, student scholarship to get higher education, and the last is research and development fundraising platform. So this is our experience regarding the solar PV. This is our design. We designed a solar PV to supply solar water pumping system in the rural area. We want to help farmers, so the farmers can conduct their activities during the summer. And this is the solar PV robot cleaning system that we designed. We want to addressing the operation and maintenance highly cost in the renewable energy, especially in the solar farm. So we will substitute the human resource to the robot, and we succeed to build the solar PV. But for the robot, we still working on it. I think we targeted will launch the robot around October or November in this year. And second is we develop a wind turbine dashboard. As you can see in here, this is the result from our equation. So my teams succeed to develop a novelty from the equation. We optimize the cylindrical shape, especially for build the blade for the wind turbine, and the equation we submitted to the Q1 of the journal Energy. It's very interesting. We only type how much the capacity that we need, and how much the available velocity of the wind in that location. So the dashboard will create the design of the blade itself. And we transform from the idea to the product. So we built the small wind turbine and give to the rural. So this is our activities that influence other people, other youth in Indonesia to involve in the energy transition agenda as soon as possible. And this is our experience also in the geothermal energy, especially this is my paper. I very interested in the geothermal energy and solar energy, so I conduct the hybrid system that combine the solar thermal energy and the geothermal energy. The idea is to increasing the capacity of the geothermal energy power plant. Uh, and then last but not least, the landscape of the renewable energy. As you can see in this landscape of renewable energy, the solar PV is very potential affordability, maintenance, and accessibility. So any youth can build a solar PV by themselves. But for the wind, it's quite hard to implement. But I think if we can get any funding, we can build a wind turbine. But for the geothermal and hydro, it's very hard for you to conduct any project in the geothermal or hydro. So this is our experience. The youth can build a solar PV and wind turbine that's suitable for rural electrification, build a micro hydro turbine for the pedestrian electrification, build an energy system management to control the energy consumption, and last, conduct any research regarding geothermal and hydro energy. I think is enough for the presentation. I give back to the moderator. Thank you.
Oh, thanks a lot. It was really inspiring and impressive that you managed to build both a solar panel and a wind turbine. That's Thanks for sharing that. I think the questions are starting to come in. I think I will start with them, but people, please keep typing in or wait until the current question is finished to unmute yourself and ask your question. So the first question is, if our bachelor's degree was petroleum engineering, is it possible to study renewables or sustainable energy in master's degree, and how it causes difficulties for us during studying or working? Because, for
Uh,
example, we don't have electrical engineering or mechanical engineering background.
yeah, thank you for the question. I will pick some example for our senior. I have senior in Indonesia. His background is the petroleum engineering, but but he take the master degree in the energy, especially in renewable energy. Um, I think it's very possible from the all the background they want to shifting to the renewable energy. So nowadays you can easily conduct any external courses, conduct any supporting education from the e-learning platform, for example, Coursera, Udemy, etc. So you have to set yourself with the renewable energy courses. So you know about the renewable energy and you know the requirement of the master degree. But I think youth is very agile nowadays. It becomes very easy to shifting from one sector to another sectors. Based on our experience, many petroleum engineering shifting to renewable energy, especially to the geothermal energy, because it's quite similar. If you conducted exploration in petroleum, and you conduct an exploration in the geothermal energy. So I think it's very suitable, and it's very recommended to study about the geothermal energy. Maybe that's the answer for me, from me.
Yes, and oh, by the way, just a small question additional. Maybe
Yeah,
when you negotiate or you work with different companies, how
yeah.
important is it for the companies, for the employee to have an official degree in renewable energy? Is it really that important, or is it all about the skills, the ideas?
Yeah, the first one is the level of job itself. For the very technical background, it's very important. But for the you can say about the marketing engineers or any technical jobs that not require strongly technical, it's very discussable for the background. For example, I have a previous discussion with human resource recruiter from the Seven Sisters company. Yeah, she said to me that nowadays the company want to shifting to the renewable energy, especially from the previous discussion. They want to build the geothermal energy subsidiaries, and also they want to conduct any solar PV farming in their field. So I think it's very discussable when you want to apply for their job, if your background is petroleum engineering.
Thank you. Um, okay, I will continue with the next question is thank you for the interesting presentation. You told that one of the targets of your government is using biofuels instead of fossil fuels. What was the first big step of the government in order to produce or use biofuels? Thanks in advance.
Okay. The first big step is to conduct any suitable composition regarding the biofuel itself. So, in my country, there is composition 20% biodiesel and 80% diesel to conduct in any engine in all of the industry. So it's very challenging for the researchers to research any composition that's suitable for engine that already used in the industry. And the second is the land for the bioenergy itself. I think is very diplomatic when we talk about energy or food. Yeah, based on the Indonesian experience, Indonesian is very huge, and they produce the bioenergy. But the Europe talked to our president, so the Indonesian has to stop about the bioenergy, because the bioenergy has to substitute to food, not for the energy. Yeah, I think it's very challenging when we talk about the biofuel, but in Indonesia, the government want to accelerate the biofuel programs. So it's very interesting to substitute the fossil energy to biofuel in Indonesia. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you still mute your microphone.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. So
Yeah.
the next one is where will renewable energy be in the next 5 years? And I think there are a few questions. So after you answer this one, I will give the second part.
Yeah, I think based on the IRENA's publication, IRENA is the one of the biggest platform to promoting the renewable energy. So in the 5 years, solar PV will be available on all the countries because it's very easy to build and it's very easy to get the electrification for the solar PV and the economic and the price is very economic. So when we compare the price from the renewable energy and the fossil itself, it's very similar. So we can choose the renewable energy and we can promote the climate action. I think in the 5 years from now, the second is come from the wind energy. As you know, in the Europe, many wind turbine available in the developed countries. For example, Netherlands. Yeah, in Indonesia, the government projects want to increase the wind energy in the renewable energy mix. So I think that's on my perspective, and based on the latest publication in the renewable energy. Thank you.
Okay. The next one is, um, what will be the role of hydrogen energy power as a renewable source?
Yeah.
And will it be, and shall we be able to use it in domestic places, all of them, like solar, wind, or hydrogen energy?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Hydrogen will be a very interesting sources. Based on my previous presentation, I conduct the geothermal hybrid system. The idea is when the excess electricity comes from the hybrid system, we transform the excess electricity to produce the hydrogen. I think the hydrogen it's become popular in the last decades because the electric vehicle have a competitor. It's come from the hydrogen vehicle. So in the few years, I think many vehicles that comes from the hydrogen sources. So if if the technology is very mature, it can scale up to the market, scale up to the industrial, or even to the household. I think that's my answer.
Thank you. Thank you. And um, would, I think the next question, Shahin, would you like to unmute? Is it possible, or should I read it on behalf of you? Um, I think in the meantime, is it fair really to say that hydrogen power is the greenest among all renewable energy sources, or is it just PR?
Yeah, I think it's greenest based on my experience and my research in the hydrogen.
Hmm. Great, good to know.
But still very difficult to produce the hydrogen because the technology is still on the research scales, not in the market scales.
Hmm. Yeah, I think big companies, for example, oil and gas companies, I know that BP has
Yeah,
started investing in it,
yeah.
and it's quite risky. So, what specific abilities and subject knowledge is needed to be professional in renewable energy sector, and which job vacancies are required in this sector?
Yeah, it's very depends on what role that want you to take in the renewable energy because there's technicals and also non-technicals. For example, if you want to involve in the technical sectors, it very depends also from the resources itself. For example, solar PV. If you want to involve yourself in the technical sectors, you have to masters in the softwares. For example, you have to able to conduct any simulation in MATLAB, in PV Soulcast, PVCs, etc. And you have to know about the business development, because when you want to sell your product, you have to share the payback period, the economic price, and it's very important for you if you want to have some jobs in the renewable energy, especially in the solar PV. And for the geothermal, I think for the subsurface, you have to able to conduct any softwares regarding subsurface activity. For examples, you can search TAF2. TAF2 is it's very powerful software to conduct any simulation. For example, numerical simulation to updating conceptual model, etc. in geothermal. Yeah, and for the steam field, you have to able to conduct any yeah, I think Aspen is very powerful software that you can use in the geothermal energy. For the non-technical, let's say marketing, you have to strongly soft skills. I think you have to communicate clearly to your customers regarding the specification of your product, regarding the benefit from your product. And I think it's very crucial if you can share your product will contribute to the environment as in amount XXX. Yeah, I think it's very clear if you want to take in the technical or non-technical jobs in the renewable energy. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think before Raditya goes on with the next question, can you type in the names of the simulation software that you mentioned? So maybe
Okay.
someone would like to check it out after the session.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Raditya, would you like to ask your question by unmuting?
Okay. Hello, Zagi.
Yeah. Hello.
Uh, I wanted to ask you about this question. How about your idea to solve the problem production fee in renewable energy implementation? Let's say in water usage is renewable energy that requires budget more, in which fossil energy production fee more affordable than renewable energy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if we want to talk about the LCOE, if we want to reduce the LCOE is the amount of price that the customer will be paid to use the electrifications. For example, the electrification from the coal power plant is very cheap, but nowadays the solar PV can competitive with the fossil energy. So if we want to talk about the LCOE, we have to increase the production itself. If we build the big power plant, so we can get a very cheap price, and we want to increase the technology. So when we increase the technology, we can get higher output. So it means higher output means the higher capacity, and it will reduce the price regarding the renewable energy landscape. So I think it's very crucial, especially in Indonesia. So in Indonesia, the market quite competitive between the fossil fuel to the solar power plant. So it comes from the other countries. the drop of the solar PV economic price led to the fossil company think twice to shifting as soon as possible and amplify with the global energy transition and the global commitment to achieve the zero emission. I think that's my answers.
Thank you, Jagi.
Okay. The next question is about energy intermittency from renewables.
Yeah.
So it sounds, hello everyone, thank you so much for the speech and presentation. I have very basic question. We cannot accumulate um, renewable energy. Usually electricity comes from burning coal or heating fuel, and we cannot always catch solar energy because of the weather. The sun does not shine accordingly. So I don't really understand how the energy from the sun gets to us and how we have learned to accumulate it.
Yeah, thank you. It's intermittency. It's very crucial in the energy. So we know that we can predict the solar energy for the next days, but uh, the sophisticated program produced by others technology provider, I think nowadays we can predict the solar energy for the few days or the few weeks, so um, we can know if the solar energy comes from the energy in amount of 2 megawatts, for example, we can um, prepare in I think if the energy is abundant, it will be harm for the distribution. So it will lead to uh, the problem for the electrification. I think the data that provide in the website or in the all the energy provider can lead to the scientists predict the potential of the renewable energy. Yeah, I think it's my answers.
Thank you. I think the next one is about oil and coal. So, do you think in the future renewable energy will be kind of replacing oil and coal, or will it be just complementary? Because
Yeah,
oil and coal seems to be more stable, it says.
yeah. Yeah. When we talk about the electrification, it breaks down to the base load and the peak load. When we talk about the base load, yeah, the coal is very stable, but in the renewable energy sources, we can say that the geothermal energy and the hydro energy is very stable also. But for the solar and wind, it's very intermittent, and we have to talk about the peak load. The peak load is the amount of energy that needs in the day of the industry. Let's say the electricity consumption, it's higher in a day compared with the in the evening. I think it's very suitable if we want to supply the industry. We can supply the electricity from the solar PV on the wind energy. So uh, I think if we talk about the base load, yeah, the renewable energy will be the complementary, not substitute 100%. This is my opinion. This is my perspective.
Mhm. Thank you. So, the next one is I was wondering, have you searched which region is best fit for this energy transition? For example, some African countries are best fit for solar energy. However, the
Yeah.
conditions doesn't allow them to take some actions. So, if we consider all this, which country would be the center of renewable energy sources?
I think China. China is have any yeah, it's a huge area, and China is the first country that installed renewable energy capacity in the world. But if we talk about the Africa, yeah, it's very suitable if the government um, install the solar PV to get the electrification. Yeah, I think we can access any information from the website. You can search with the keyword energy potential. You can directly, for example, energy potential in Indonesia, so we can know how many potential and what they come from. So we can transform from the potential to how amount the installed capacity that can we build for the electrification. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think this one seems to be the last. Which one renewable energy is most appropriate in rural villages?
Yeah. Nowadays, I strongly recommended to build the solar PV because the solar PV is very easy to build. It's very cheap to buy. You can buy the solar PV in the e-commerce. Uh, I think when we talk about the rural, we talk about the difficulties of the geographic. So with the solar PV, with the easiest accommodation, we can provide the electrification for the rural from the solar PV renewable energy resource. Yeah. And second, I recommend to build a wind turbine, but if you want to build a wind turbine, you have to consider the wind velocity in that location. The suitable wind velocity that can build the wind turbine is around 7 meter per second. From our previous project, when we built the small wind turbine, the wind velocity in that location is around 7 meter per second. So the wind turbine can perform to produce the electrification. Yeah, I think that's the answers.
By the way, you showed great pictures of again solar panel and wind
Yeah.
turbine that you built yourselves. It was probably like sponsored or somehow. What was the kind of cost of building that solar panel or wind turbine? Can small
Yeah.
communities like get together and build one maybe?
Yeah. For example, when we built the solar PV and wind turbine, it's very cheap because we we conduct crowdfunding from our member. So each member pay, yeah, let's say $10 to build the wind turbine. So we gather the funding from our members. So the small community can build the power plant by themselves. I think it, yeah, I
Excuse me.
think
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's very feasible for youth to build some power plant.
that that sounds amazing. I think the next question is about subsurface. So
Yeah,
it's more about to know. They would like to know about the role of geoscience in future energy. So they are aware of geothermal, carbon capture, offshore wind, geotechnical. But the question is it going to play a big role in the future? And
yeah, yeah. I think when we talk about the geoscience, we talk about how can we estimate the amount of energy that located in the subsurface. Yeah, for the industry, they needs the geoscience to estimate the amount of resource energy in specific location. So with supporting from the sophisticated software, the geoscience can have important role in the future energy industry. Yeah, in Indonesia, the geoscience is very limited, but many students have focused to study about the geoscience because many geothermal energy potential in Indonesia that not calculated uh, calculated to conduct any pre-feasibility study for any project from the government or from the private sector. So I think it's very important for you as a geoscience to study as soon as possible with the geothermal industry.
That's a good advice. Thank you. So the next, I think, yeah, this seems to be the last one, and after that we will have a quick set of questions just to get uh, the view from the audience. So this question sounds, as you know, water sources are decreasing day by day. Would it affect to our renewable energy percentage as we get huge amount of power from water?
Yeah. If we talk about the water that decreasing day by day, we can transform the ocean to fresh water with renewable energy sources, reverse osmosis. If you have ever heard about the reverse osmosis, so we get the fresh water by processing the ocean water with the technology. So um, the energy comes from the renewable energy. For example, if we have one bottle of the ocean water, we can transform to the fresh water as simple as we heating by the solar energy. So when we heat the water, so the water will evaporate. When the water evaporate, they turns to the fresh water. I think it's very interesting solution when we face the challenge of the freshwater for support our activities. But for the yeah, I think you mentioned about the hydro energy. I think when we talk about the hydro energy, yeah, if dry season, we cannot get any electricity from the water, but we can still maintain the level of the water. So we always produce the electrification from the hydro energy. I think that's my answers.
Thank you. I think I will turn on the poll while you take a brief rest, maybe a sip of water. And I think we will take just last questions to make sure people are not leaving with unanswered questions. So, dear audience, if you look at your screens, you will see three questions. The first one is single answer question to see if you would like more about renewable energy. Second one is which segment of it or you are most interested. And the last one is how do you think which energy type holds the future? And yeah, maybe just to give you a couple of minutes to answer that, and we will then see what our audience thinks.
I think there's a question from the Shalin Imanov.
Hmm.
It's very interesting. I will answer the question.
Please.
Yeah, how much does it cost installation solar panel? Yeah, in Indonesia, the solar panel is around yeah 50 million rupiah. If we convert, yeah, you can convert by yourself to USD, but it's very cheap. And when we get the excess electricity, we can sell to the private sectors, or we can sell to Yeah, I think it's in the future we can sell to other neighbor because in the few years we want to implement the peer-to-peer energy trading. When we have the excess electricity, we can sell to our neighbor. For example, you have excess electricity and you want to sell to your neighbor with a certain price. Yeah, it's very feasible, and I think in the all countries they want to implement the peer-to-peer energy trading. So it comes from the solar PV.
Uh, Thank you. I think there's again, yeah, two more questions left. I will briefly show what our audience think. So I think everyone is pretty much excited about renewable energy, mostly interested in technical aspect of it, and then educational and career perspectives. And most think that solar energy is gonna be dominant for the future. And the next ones are, I think, hydrogen and wind. So it is really exciting to see what people think about it. I think the next uh, questions are really, I think, which one will you choose between cooperate with private industry or state industry to implement renewable energy?
So when we want to build a power plant, we cannot choose specifically. We have to collaborate with the government and also the private sectors. So when we join with the private sector, but the government cannot support, we cannot build any program regarding the renewable energy electrification. So I think the collaboration will suitable for in the energy transition agenda, and also the policies from the government, it play a significant role to accelerating the renewable energy adoption in all countries. I think that's answers.
Thank you. And the last one, but not least, is renewable energy is not considered cost effective in today's situation. Do you think it would affect engineers' salary who works in renewable energy industry?
Yeah. If we talk about the salary, of course, the fossil industry offer high salary, but I think nowadays the salary is very competitive. If you have a very important role, so for example, if you are a geoscience, if you are a consultant regarding a big project, you will have a high salary. But um, if you have a yeah, mediocre role, the salary is not competitive with the fossil industry. So I think, yeah, it's very common in the industry outside the energy. It's very similar also.
And, and, and do you think its job perspectives are really good, especially on international domain for the ones who have experience or maybe Master of Science
Yeah.
degree in renewable energy?
Many industry have a division in a sustainable energy division. When we talk about the sustainable energy, it's very suitable for you that have a Master of Science degree. So you can apply for that division, and you can apply for any think tank, any institution that works in the renewable energy, especially they work for forecasting the renewable energy adoption in the few days on in the upcoming decades. Uh, and also for the Master of Science, you can build your own startup regarding the energy efficiency. Uh, yeah, that's the answer for my perspective.
Thanks a lot. I think it was really amazing and inspiring. Not that you have only, I mean, you, your team, and your country, you have established
Yeah.
a society of renewable energy, but as well managed to build your own equipment. This is really amazing. And thank you for sharing. I think you're on
Yeah,
top
you're
of it.
welcome.
You have touched almost on every renewable energy source, and we are really grateful for your time, for sharing and inspiring us as well. Thank
Yeah,
you. We hope
you're
to
welcome.
hear about you and your organization in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay.
Take care of yourselves, please, everyone. Thank you again. I'll see you
Yeah.
later.
See you. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.